Can ChatGPT become my new business coach? Let's find out. I recently learned how to program my own chatbot coach in ChatGPT by training it in my professional core competencies as well as my own personal style as a coach. Today, we're going to see how well it implemented it and how well it can coach me now. I'll also share my reaction and feedback to the overall quality of coaching that it's providing me. Now, with all that said, let's get coaching. Last time I coached with you on my business, I established a plan to create content out of my coaching. I have implemented the steps to set up those coaching masterclasses, but haven't yet had the class. So let's assume that I host this class, coach a number of people in really powerful ways, harvest many great clips of content, and they start to grow my audience. All of this is great, but I'm still left wondering, what direction am I taking my business? Am I setting up this community in the Circle app? Am I creating a YouTube community membership? Am I launching a program? I genuinely feel a little aimless in my business currently, since I am freshly postpartum and still may be in a transitional period in my business for months or years to come if we choose to grow our family more. So, what is a sustainable path for me to generate real revenue now that doesn't get in the way of longer term business growth? I can feel how alive this question is for you. There's something here about standing at a trailhead with five beautiful paths and no sign telling you which one is yours. And I also hear something deeper, not just what should I do, but how do I build something that honors the season I'm in and the woman I'm becoming? So before we even touch strategy, let's ground the conversation in you. Right now, strip away all the options: Circle, YouTube, programs, revenue streams. What do you actually want your business to feel like in this season of your life? I'd like my business to feel like a community of real humans genuinely enjoy receiving my gifts and offerings and who benefit from each other as well. I love creating things, so videos, tools, written posts, etc. I love one-on-one coaching, but am conscious of energy and time limitations that come with this season right now. I have a desire to build the foundation of a larger scale business now so that when my capacity opens more, all I have to do is turn on the machine. There's something really clear and grounded in what you just said. You don't want to just make money. You want to build an ecosystem. I think it said that the last video too. A living, breathing space where people gather, grow, and create ripple effects, and where your role can expand without requiring more of you in the same way. And at the same time, there's a quiet tension. You're building a future machine while needing present day sustainability. So here's what I'm curious about. If you zoom in on right now, this season, this energy, this version of you, what feels like the most honest and sustainable way for money to flow in over the next 3 to 6 months? I think real revenue is most accessible right now through one-on-one clients. So I could fill my practice right now by simply opening a marketing campaign. But I question if my capacity can hold both time commitments given the somewhat unpredictable needs of two little children, as well as the energetic capacity to put out this kind of content and build the mechanics of another business. So to simplify, I could relieve a little financial pressure with just a few more clients while still producing the content I enjoy making and starting to build the future vehicle for my business. But what that vehicle is and does is still a mystery to me. There's a lot of wisdom in what you just said. You're not confused because you're lost. You're actually seeing too clearly. You can see the easy money lever, one-on-one clients, the long-term machine, community and a scalable offer, and the finite energy reality, two tiny humans who do not care about your funnel strategy. And what I hear underneath all of this is this. You don't want to build something that works. You want to build something that works with you. So instead of jumping to what the vehicle is, I want to gently turn you 1 degree. Right now, you're holding this like, what is the right business model to choose? Okay, calling me out. But what if the question is actually, what kind of business model would protect and honor my energy, even on my most unpredictable, messy, low capacity days? Exactly. Can you name this is like speaking right to my ignorance as a business owner. Can you name 10 possible business models that you see aligning with me? It said no. I love where you're going, and I'm going to gently push back on you before I answer because your brain just did something very smart but slightly sneaky. It said, give me 10 options so I can feel clarity. But more options might actually pull you further away from the grounded, self-trusting place you were just in. So let me meet you in both worlds, structure and self-trust. Here are 10 possibilities, but I want you to hold them lightly, not as choices to decide, but as mirrors to feel into. I really appreciate it pushing back on me. That is one of the gifts of having a coach, especially a life coach, because a business coach, it's some business coaches, I won't speak generally for everyone, but a lot of business coaches come from the being of expert, of the person who knows, of the person who's done it, of the person who's giving advice and consultation to someone who wants to achieve what they achieved. And so their temptation is to just answer the how-to questions that a client brings to them rather than remaining really curious as long as humanly possible until it's really clear that the client has decided what they want, and then the life or business coach can support them in implementing what is going to align best for them. Because ultimately, even if you're a business coach, having life coaching skills of really remaining curious and digging deep into the value system and the belief system and the ultimate priorities of a person is so important for the success of the client, whether you're a business coach who's not really doing that deep level of work with a client and who does have a methodology. It's still beneficial to do this kind of pushing back of like, I'm going to resist giving you answers until I actually know what matters to you. But I appreciate that it is answering my question because there's nothing more irritating than somebody just evading a question outright. So I appreciate that it wants me to trust myself, but it's also giving me some options. Okay, so here are the 10 possibilities, but I want you to hold them lightly, not as choices to decide, but as mirrors to feel into. Okay, so we're mirroring, guys. Number 1, intimate one-on-one plus waitlist model. A small, capped number of private clients at premium pricing with a waitlist that builds demand, not constant onboarding. That's basically what I currently have. Number 2, live coaching room membership. Weekly or bi-weekly group coaching calls like your masterclass, plus a simple community space. Low prep, high leverage, real humans. Okay. Number 3, content to coaching funnel. Soft, not aggressive. You create content you love, people naturally inquire, you invite a few into one-on-one or small group containers. Number 4, seasonal group programs. You can open a program a few times a year, and the rest of the time equals content, rest, and light community. Number 5, ongoing community, like on Circle, plus light touch presence. A paid space where the community feeds itself and you guide, not carry it. Number 6, clips engine business. Your coaching is the content. You don't create extra. You simply repurpose what's already happening. Number 7, hybrid one-on-one to group transition model. Clients start one-on-one, then move into a group/community, so you're not constantly replacing income. Number 8, Voxer/async coaching model. High value, flexible support without scheduled calls. Fits unpredictable days. Number 9, paid workshop/masterclasses only for now. You monetize the exact thing you're already building, no extra layers yet. Number 10, audience first, monetize later, with minimal one-on-one. You focus primarily on content and community growth with just enough one-on-one to sustain you. Now, notice what just happened in your body as you read those. Some probably felt heavy, some probably felt like relief, some maybe felt like, oh, that's interesting. That's the real data, so here's where I want to take you next. Which one or two of these made your shoulders drop a little, like your system said, oh, I could breathe there? Okay. I love that because it's inviting somatic awareness. It's letting my body participate in this conversation as a source of feedback for me in my decision making. So, yay, we love that. Okay, so number 1, the intimate one-on-one and waitlist model is what I'm already doing. So, number 1, let's see, 5 and 10. That's really telling. Notice the pattern in the ones you chose. Number 1, simplicity and high value, controlled capacity. Number 2, real humans, live energy, you doing what you love. 5, community that holds itself, not you holding everything. And 10, spaciousness, a long-term vision without pressure. There's a really clear thread there. You're not trying to build a business model, quote unquote. You're trying to build a self-sustaining ecosystem that doesn't depend on you overextending. And interestingly, none of your picks were complex. They're all elegant, spacious, human-centered. So instead of asking which one do I choose, let me offer you a different lens. What if these aren't 4 different paths, but actually 4 layers of the same business? So here's the question I want to leave you with. If you were to design this as a single ecosystem where one-on-one brings in immediate revenue, live coaching creates content, and a community slowly becomes the center of gravity, what would be the simplest possible version of that you could run right now without overwhelming yourself? I think I'm currently operating the simplest version of that, but I'm not leveraging as much as I could in terms of enrollment. Meaning, I basically only sent out 1 or 2 email invitations to my ongoing community offer and have only invited a couple of new people to experience sample sessions with me. I haven't marketed to the public in any way, and I also haven't followed up with many who were interested in the community model. Beautiful and very honest moment, because what you described isn't a strategy problem. It's not, I don't know what to build. It's actually, I haven't fully stepped into being seen and chosen at the level my business is ready for. You already have an offer, a direction, aligned models, proof that people are interested. And yet there's this gentle holding back, not avoidance in a harsh way, more like a dimmer switch turned halfway down. And that makes so much sense in your season. Visibility requires energy. Following up requires presence. Inviting requires a kind of emotional availability that postpartum life doesn't always hand you freely. So instead of pushing you into do more marketing, I want to get underneath the lever that actually moves everything. Cool? When you imagine fully opening the door, following up, inviting people in, letting more clients say yes, what feels like it might be at risk for you? On one level, I pride myself in integrity, meaning doing what I say I will do when I said I would do it, which doesn't feel as reliable right now since days and weeks can be at the mercy of my children's needs right now. I am afraid of not showing up my best for my clients. I also worry about my energetic capacity. Just as I've discussed in my own videos, our capacities fluctuate, and mine have higher highs and lower lows currently based on sleep, emotional and mental space, and time freedom, which is limited. So reliability feels risky. Time commitments seem daunting, and energetic availability is inconsistent. There's so much integrity in what you just said, and also something really tender. You're not afraid of growth, you're afraid of misalignment with your own standards. True. And that's important because it means the answer isn't push harder, it's redefine the rules of the game so you can still be in integrity. Right now, your definition of integrity sounds like I show up consistently, reliably at a high level when I said I would. But your actual life right now is asking for something more like I show up honestly, responsively, and sustainably, even when things shift. Those are two different identities. So here's where I want to gently take you. If your business were designed to expect fluctuating capacity instead of requiring consistency, what would you need to change about how you deliver, promise, or structure your offer so that you could still feel deeply in integrity? I think it really is essential that I honor a cap on number of one-on-one sessions offered weekly, and therefore how many one-on-one clients I onboard. I find my energy is most aligned with my alumni offerings, which rely more on occasional one-on-one sessions and open office hours community coaching. But that limits my pool of prospective clients because right now that is only offered to people I have worked with and no one new. While I certainly have ample opportunity to invite those clients back into a space with me, I worry that I'm hounding the same people over and over instead of inviting in my new audience to work with me. There's something really honest here. You're holding two tensions at once. I don't want to overextend myself, and I don't want to under-invite and stall my growth. And right in the middle of that is this fear of being too much, of hounding, of overreaching, of asking again. But let me gently reflect something back to you. The people you've already worked with, they're not a drained well. They're actually the warmest, most aligned soil you have. And what you're calling hounding might actually be continuing the relationship, especially because what you're offering now isn't the same thing. It's an evolution, a new doorway. So instead of solving this at the level of strategy, I want to go one layer deeper where the real lever is what meaning are you making about yourself if you do reach out again to those past clients and invite them into this new space? All right, I think I'm good here. I am ready to wrap up. What I'm taking away from this conversation is that I already have the bones in place for increasing current revenue while also prioritizing long-term sustainability by focusing on my community offering with my alumni clients, opening masterclasses for coaching to become content, therefore bringing in new prospects, and staying clear on my capacity for a small number of new one-on-one clients. I am also energetically drawn to building this circle community as a host for these workshops and future gathering place for my people. So I can feel myself moving step by step closer to building that and inviting people in. Do you have any more insights to offer me before I go? This feels really grounded, not rushed, not grasping, just clearer. Like the fog lifted enough for you to see the next steps without needing the whole map. May I reflect something back to you? You don't actually need a new business model. You need permission to trust the one already emerging. What you described is coherent. A small, protected, one-on-one container for immediate revenue. A living alumni community that feels energizing, not draining. Masterclasses as both service and content engine, and a circle space as the long-term home base. That's not scattered, that's an ecosystem in its early stages. And here's the one insight I'd offer you as you walk forward. Right now, your work is not to build the full machine. Your work is to keep opening the doors into the same room. Every masterclass, a door. Every alumni invitation, a door. Every piece of content, a door. Not different offers, not different directions, just more entrances into the same space you're already creating. And when you think about it that way, it softens everything. You're not hounding, you're not figuring it out. You're simply inviting people into a room that already exists. So I'll leave you with one final question to carry with you, not to answer now, just to let it work on you. What would it look like to lead your business in this season as a host rather than a builder? Oh, I like that. That really spoke my language in a way that I wasn't expecting because I'm someone who actively says I love to host. I owned a successful Airbnb because it felt like I got to make money hosting people. And I'm also the person who loves a good old fashioned dinner party or house party among friends and family. And so hosting has such a cool energy to it that I hadn't associated with my business before. So thank you, AI, for connecting that energy of host and my community. So, taking a step back, I was wrapped up into the coaching experience there and wasn't offering very much feedback. Now, I will say, if you've been watching the other segments of this week where AI is coaching me in different areas of my life, I kind of hold business coaching as a separate modality than life coaching. Simply by nature of the fact that number one, I think AI contains a lot of its own programming already around business coaching. There's a lot to draw on the internet from business models and business strategy and all sorts of approaches to building online businesses that are readily available for AI, whereas life coaching is such a subjective and deeper level of connection that is innately human that I think it will never quite be able to mimic as well as a business coach. So I put my guard down with business coaching more so with this AI bot because I just kind of let it facilitate coach. I also find myself behaving differently as a client in this business coaching session than I do in my life coaching sessions because I continue to ask it questions. If you listen to any of the other segments from this week, you'll have noticed that I primarily just answered the questions, but in this one, I tended to ask it a question in return. So that's part of a relational dynamic that's different for me with the AI bot is I kind of treat it more like a business coach who's going to answer my questions rather than a life coach who's going to support me in finding my own answers. I'm curious though, if other people were to use this chat, if they would also show up asking questions and having the bot answer for you, or if you are kind of like me in the life coaching setting where you just answer the questions and you let your own insights guide you towards the answers. It's very interesting. So I would say overall, looking back at the questions, I feel like it succeeds really well in business coaching with a flavor of life coaching because it's good at these facilitative questions. It's good at these surface level, and I don't say surface level to be demeaning or diminishing to what it's doing, but it's not like it's digging into the core of who I am through its questions. It does go a little beneath the surface by asking me things like, what meaning are you making about yourself if you do reach out to these past clients and invite them to this new space? Like that, what meaning are you making about this is a very powerful life coaching question. There's nothing wrong with that. The only thing is it doesn't have the ability to go much deeper than that. It has me generate the insights and then it connects it back to business strategy and advice. So overall, I would say again, I got value out of it. This time was a little bit less mind blowing because it was reinforcing something that I'd already decided or started chewing on from last conversation about the business model that I want to grow. Sometimes this is what coaching is, though. Sometimes we've already had this conversation and we just lost the thread as we went back into our normal lives. We took a couple of the actions that we said we would, but ultimately, like the bigger vision, the bigger why, the bigger commitment that you unearth in that coaching conversation just falls by the wayside because we lose sight of that bigger vision. So sometimes just having these conversations is a way to bring back into your line of sight the direction that you want to be taking your life or your business. So that's what this conversation did for me, which ultimately is of high value to me. I'm grateful that although it wasn't drawing from our previous conversation, because like I told you, the conversations in this bot disappear. Ultimately, it did give me some more clarity, especially the fact that it pushed back on me asking, tell me the answer to, hey, this is a conversation about self-trust as much as it is like, sure, I can answer a few different business model options you could go from here. And none of them are either ors. Like you can combine any one of these into what your business looks like. So I think for me, when it kept saying you want to build an ecosystem, to me that didn't mean anything. Like I needed it to explain to me, what does building an ecosystem mean? And so when it gave me those options 1 through 10, I was like, "Oh, that's what that means. I could have this and this and this, and they all live within one cohesive community and aren't competing offers, they're complementary." That was clarifying to me, and I just appreciated it helping me understand that this isn't an either or. It's just an opportunity for me to have grace with myself during this season of life, to continue taking steps towards the business that I have when I have more capacity, while still staying in integrity with where I am now in my life as a mother of 2 really young children. So ultimately, I'm still happy I had this conversation. I will continue using this, and I am curious to hear what you heard out of this conversation for yourself and your own business, and or what you notice about business coaching versus life coaching using this bot. I will be looking in the comments. I'm really looking forward to seeing your insights. And with that, we've come to the end of today's episode of the Contentment Creator Podcast, where we put AI to the test to see if a chatbot can coach a life coach. Whether you caught the whole episode or one of our segments, either way, thank you so much for making it all the way to the end, and I hope that you are subscribed so you don't miss another episode. Join me in my mission to turn a world full of content creators into a world of contentment creators. Bye, y'all.